3.4 Decomposers. We will talk about what do decomposers do, what are their examples, and what are their roles.
Decomposers. Decomposers are organisms that break down dead and waste water into simple substances such as mineral salts, carbon dioxide, and water. Bacteria and fungi are two important groups of decomposers. They obtain energy and absorb nutrients from the matter they break down. And hyenas and vultures are scavengers. They eat the soft remains of dead animals. The decomposers then break down the rest of the remains into simple substances. What do decomposers do? The decomposers only absorb a small amount of nutrients. The rest, such as nitrates and phosphorus compounds, are released into the environment. Some of these substances return to the soil and are absorbed and used by plants. In this way, nutrients are recycled within the environment. Decomposers carry out aerobic cellular respiration, taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide in the process. The diagram below shows how producer, consumer, and decomposer depend on one another for survival. Producer provide energy and nutrients to consumers, and consumer produce waste which is broken down by decomposer. Producer and consumers, when they die, are broken down by decomposers. Decomposer break down dead and waste matter into mineral salts which are used by
3.5 Ecology. We will talk about how ecologies work, what is sampling and quadrat, and how to sample.
Ecology. Ecology is the study of the interaction or relationships between organisms and their environment. Ecologists study the interrelationships between organisms and the environment.
How do ecologists work? Ecologists created 3D printed replicas of part of the orchid flower. They swap some of the replicas with a scent and some without a scent. The printed sepal had different patterns. One is spotted, one is striped, and one without a pattern with only solid color. For the result, the scented replica had attracted 3 times as many flies as the unscented ones. The orchid with the spot pattern, or the natural, attracts more flies than those with strip and those without a pattern. Here we can see that the spotted sepals and the scent of the orchid play a role in attracting pollinators.
What is sampling? Ecologists use a technique called sampling to get an idea of the big picture by studying a small portion of the entire population or area. Think of it as eating a bite-sized sample to get an idea of how a whole cake tastes. For sampling to be a good representation of the big picture, ecologists must make sure that they take enough samples and the samples are random. Random samples are important because if the sampling is biased, it will not be a good representation. Ecologists have tools to help them with sampling. One of them is a device called a quadrat. A quadrat is a portable frame, usually square in shape, has an internal grid of smaller squares used to mark out a small area of a habitat for sampling. The frame may be of different size, but it is usually a 1 meter by 1 meter or 0.5 meter square frame. How to sample a field of wheat? First, count the number of wheat different areas with a quadrat. Second, calculate the average number of the wheat. Third, use the average number to estimate the total number of wheat on the field, provided that the area of the field is known.
3.6 We will talk about the effect of human activities on the environment. The negative effects and how to prevent it from happening.
Air pollution, accident gases and oxide of nitrogen are released into the atmosphere from things like vehicles or industry. These gases therefore in rainwater become acid rain. Acid rain kill organisms, damage stone structures. Warming greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere and trap heat. Global warming causes extreme weather, rising sea level, habitat loss, and disease. Ozone layer depletion, CFC system emitted by air conditioner and sets deplete the ozone layer and lead to more harmful ultraviolet radiation from a sun reaching the surface of the earth with a harmful effect to living beings. Overhunting of wild animals for food, pet trade, and for enrichment leads to increased population of the hunt animals. This causes animals to become endangered or extinct and expand the balance of the ecosystem. Land pollution, toxic chemicals and bacteria form very rapid in diving grounds and landfill may seep into the soil and up elephant or shit. The millions of tons of rubbish produced every year when not disposed properly can extend rat and insect can spread disease.
Water pollution. Fertilizers and pesticides used in farming may be washed into the rivers and lakes. The pesticides poison and kill aquatic organisms. Habitat destruction. Deforestation destroys habitats and kills the organisms living in the forest, and also leads to global warming as carbon dioxide is released when forests are burned and there are fewer trees to absorb carbon dioxide in the air. Destroying coral reefs directly by dynamite fishing or indirectly due to global warming wipes out the coral reef ecosystem. These ecosystems support a great diversity of life. To prevent this from happening, some individuals could use less energy, minimize wastage, dispose rubbish in the right place, and eat less meat. Meanwhile, organizations can educate the public about the need and ways to conserve the environment and support and carry out research to conserve the environment. The government can help by set and enforce high environmental standards, educate the citizens to conserve the environment, and replace the use of fossil fuels with renewable sources of energy and monitor and control pollution.